Welcome everyone to Jaden's Jam. I'm your host Jaden Goss, and today we're talking about Andor episode 8, Narkina 5. I loved this episode just like I've loved pretty much every episode of this show. It continues to build upon itself, and to me, every episode is better than the last just from a story standpoint and a character standpoint. Yeah, not always a lot happens in these episodes, but the characters move the story forward, if that makes sense. Like there's not, like you could say not a lot happened this episode, but actually a lot did happen. Number one, we got to see Mon Mothma again at another dinner party, and she's meeting with her banker still, trying to move funds around so that she can continue funding the rebellion. And she calls it her charity drives. I like that stuff. That's really good. Luthen. I think Luthen had a lot more to do this episode than he's had in the past. It was really cool seeing Saw Gerrera again. I really like Forrest Whitaker as this character. I think he is a very interesting character. Um, yeah, when I think about him, I think about what is it, the Baba Goulet or whatever the fuck it was. I can't remember what it's called, but the stupid fucking monster creature from Rogue One that he has or whatever. I do think about that every single time. But Saw Gerrera is a cool character, and this is an example. This show of giving you, yes, there are these rebel cells, but not all of them are willing to come together as a united front to fight the Empire. There's a lot of infighting, and we see it in this episode between Luthen and Saw. Luthen is trying to get Saw to meet with this guy for a job, and Saw just refuses, basically. Luthen does come a little strong in the end there. I think he could have been a little more diplomatic. He was diplomatic in the beginning, but at a certain point, he just kind of lost his cool. But that was a great scene between two just fantastic actors. The one thing this show really does showcase is the acting. Diego Luna is fantastic as Andor. I loved, um, you know, a lot of he doesn't. The thing I like about his acting in this show is he doesn't need to say a lot for you to understand what he's going through or even understand what he's thinking. There's a moment in this episode when Andor just looks at Andy Serkis. I think it's near the end of the episode, and you can tell that he just wants to punch him so hard. And the thing that drives this episode, honestly, because Andor doesn't say a lot of lines, is just his looking around. I will say this show has me on the edge of my seat. Yes, I know Andor survives. Somehow he survives because he doesn't die till Rogue One. I get it. But at the same time, this show somehow makes me, want to bite my nails while I'm watching just from how anxious it makes me. Just watching Andor look around like he's trying to figure out either a way out or he's trying to get all he can about the situation. He is very observant. We've seen him. Um, he'll watch people and he'll watch situations, and then you might not find out exactly what he's figuring out, but eventually he'll tell a character, and you'll figure out, oh, okay, so he was just observing everything, and that is basically what he's doing. He's looking around. He's watching everybody. He's the one thing that this episode really does is it throws Andor into this prison, um, where they're constructing Imperial equipment. I'm not sure. I'm sure they gave a name of the equipment. I'm sorry. Like, I love Star Wars. It's one of my favorite things since I was a little kid. But I've never been good about all the equipment and what all the equipment does and all the different names, because there's so many different fucking. This universe is huge. All right, so I apologize. But just the fact that, like, they can control them by their feet, I guess. It's this is they just throw you into this situation. It's fantastic, and I was just on the edge of my seat the entire time because I was like, "Come on, Andor, just play it as cool as you can. Gather yourself. Look at your surroundings." And he does. He looks a lot. He's looking everywhere. He's not saying much. He's being as brief as he can with people. Um, and I just this is what is going to make him realize that he needs to join the rebellion. You know, we also see on Ferrex that they got Bix. They're interrogating her friend. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Again, there's also a lot of characters on this show that I'm still learning everybody's name. But they got Bix, um, and Deidre. God, she's gonna be a great villain. I already know it. Like just from this episode, I have felt for her in certain situations in the past few times we've seen her, but this is where she starts to come into her own, and you can tell that she's going to be a force to reckon with on Ferrex. She is. She even calls in Karn to talk to him about what happened on Ferrex. And she basically shuts him down, and I liked their acting. Karn still looks like he's ready to just explode at any moment. He's such a Kyle Soller is such a great actor already, and I can't wait to see like him lose his cool. Because he has a brief moment where he loses his cool because he's desperate. He want. I bet you, like he's going to join the ISB for sure. I think he's going to join the ISB, probably learn under Deidre. That's where I see his character going, but he's not there yet, and I think he's gonna have to prove himself. Because a lot of the Empire blames him for this situation. But Deidre shows how good of a leader she is. She brings him in. Nobody talked to him. You know, he was just forced to sign something. Nobody even let him read the report so that he could add some information because he does know the situation better than most people. Deidre sees that and she's like, okay, let him read the report. I like her character. She is a smart bad guy, and I like my villains intelligent, and I think she's going to be great on this on Ferric, like this next segment of the show. I think she's going to be a force to be reckoned with. We just haven't seen it enacted quite yet. I think we'll really feel how big of a threat she's going to be next episode, just by the way this episode ends with, Bix about to be interrogated by her. So I think we're really going to feel differently about her, but it's cool how they've at least made me care about her. Just as a woman going against all these men, like I don't know, I've felt for her, even though she is obviously an imperial and bad character. Because if you work for the Empire, you're a bad person. Sorry. Um, and then we got to see Vel and Senta. They're on Ferrex too. They're looking for Andor to kill him because he knows too much about Luthen. And again, I like this storyline. Very curious to see where it goes next. I think Vel and Senta are probably going to team up with Bix and help find Andor, maybe? I don't know. I don't see, that's another thing. Since Andor's going by a different name in this prison, I don't know how they're going to find him. So I'm very curious, like, how is Andor going to get out of prison? Is he going to just serve his sentence, or is he gonna escape prison by himself? Um, Another thing, we also got to see Mon Mothma having another dinner party. She's trying to move funds around still, and the Empire's making it even harder now because they're trying to, obviously the Empire is being funded by different people who have money. So obviously they're trying to figure out who. and so Mon Mothma's having a hard time doing it. And again, her relationship with her husband is very interesting. It's like I felt there was actually some kind of mutual respect this episode. Near the beginning, they seemed like they were being actually cordial, but again, it's probably that fake, that they're faking it till you make it. We found out that they were basically put together as teenagers and married off together. It was a cultural thing. Um, that was interesting. So it's not like something out of love. Like their marriage is not built on love. It's built on, an arranged marriage. Which hey, I'm not. I know that you know um, a lot of arranged marriages, the people do eventually fall in love with each other, but it's not something built off love initially. Usually, we got to see Brasso again. That was great. I really like his presence on the show, even though he hasn't really played that big of a role. I'm assuming these next 3 episodes he's going to play a bigger role. And I think what's happening on Ferrex is what, besides Andor being put in prison and seeing how bad fascism is, um, how bad the Empire really is the fact that they're all interrogating his friends and family uh, on Ferrex. I think that's also going to be a reason why he is pushed to join the rebellion. We find out that his mom is ill. She fell, and she seems like she's not doing too well. Um, I'm gonna be sad when she dies. She's gonna die definitely. In this show, I'm sure she is. And I know, like, she's been such a great character so far that I know I'm gonna feel it. Which just sucks, because such a great character. You don't want to see great characters die, but at the same time, if you feel for him, that's a good sign of a great character. Oh, something else I wanted to say. What I love about this show is it shows you how the Empire continues to have control. We see a conversation between some of the high society at Mon Mothma's party, and one dude goes, "Well, if you're not doing anything wrong, surveillance isn't a big deal." And it's like, see, these are the kind of people who do some of the most harm in like giving fascist governments and I'll keep it to the show, but giving the empire such leeway and power is because you are saying that if you're not doing something wrong, you have nothing to worry about. That's not how this shit works, guys. Like that is I hate when people say that shit. It's like it's not that simple, all right? They don't just come after the people you hate. They also come after you eventually. All right? So we shouldn't give the government that much power. Sorry. I'm not going to go on a tangent about that. But it just goes to show you the politics were really in form on in that dinner party, and that was really cool because we also don't get to see a ton of politics, like good politics, like the kind of good political maneuvering that we see on like House of the Dragon or Game of Thrones. We've never really gotten like good politics like that in Star Wars like we're getting on this show. um, I know people are screaming at me about the prequels, but I mean, the prequels are a mixed bag for me. But also the politics were not well written or shown very well. Yeah. This show is really fleshing the politics side of Star Wars out too. And yeah, it's another great episode. It was cool seeing Andy Serkis. I did not expect to see him. We heard him before we saw him, and just hearing his voice, I was like, "Oh shit, is that Andy Serkis?" And then, boom, there he is. And this this prison is really terrifying. Like, just the idea of being imprisoned. You see what's wrong with our prison system. See, this show is doing a lot of great stuff, a lot of great commentary on our world, but using Star Wars. Like all the problems with our prison systems, and we're seeing it on this show told through a Star Wars lens, so it's easier for people to digest. But again, I love this show, man. Like this is definitely the best Star Wars show we've had. It is super enjoyable. This is the first time I've been just so excited to watch every episode. That hasn't always happened with these Star Wars shows, but this one I just like. It's similar to House of the Dragon, where like every episode I couldn't wait to watch, and this one it's the same thing. And yeah, great character moments and great writing, just great dialogue. Oh my god, this show visually, like when we come in and see the prison for the first time, um, you can't tell how fake it is like you can on a lot of these Star Wars shows lately using the volume. But since they're using actual locations and actual like built sets, it just looks fantastic. I really think set design and definitely set design or makeup, whatever. I think this needs to be considered for an Emmy. I'm being honest. Like all the costumes look great too. Like I love the Imperial costumes. They look intimidating, and they're clean, and I don't know. It's this show's just great. At this point, I'm just trying to find stuff to talk about, but yeah, it's the score is fantastic. I like how like ethereal this this score has been sounding. Like last week, I loved that that vocalization that it ended on, and we got little hints of it in this episode. It was a little different sounding, but similar. And yeah, I'm just loving it. This is a great show. Just I am enthralled with all the different characters, which I just didn't expect to like this show so much. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Like this video, comment below. Let me know what you think about Andor. All I ask is that you just be nice and respectful if you leave a comment. Share this video if you like it, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm still growing. Um, the content has slowed down, but it's only because I've only been having to review House of the Dragon and Andor, which House of the Dragon just ended. So be reviewing Andor for the next few weeks. Um, I'll start reviewing Titans when that show starts again. I caught up with it. They're on season 4, so I'll be reviewing season 4 of Titans. And then we'll see what the rest of the year brings. We're still supposed to be getting the Witcher spin-off show, so I'll be reviewing that if that hits this year. And then we've got a bunch of exciting stuff at the beginning of next year, but that's in a couple months. So I promise I'll keep reviewing stuff, but it's just going to be a slow time right now. And I do plan on reviewing Cabinet of Curiosities. I think I'm just going to wait until all the episodes are out and I've watched all the episodes before I review it. The first 2 episodes were great, so can't wait to see more of that show. I love Guillermo del Toro, and Halloween is my favorite holiday, so I'm just eating right now. And then Tales of the Jedi is out. I'll be hopefully reviewing that. Again, if I end up watching it and I don't really care about it, I probably won't review it because I don't like talking about stuff that I don't like. It's boring for me, and I know it's no fun to listen to someone bitch about a show the entire time. I'd rather listen to someone who likes a show than who hates a show. It'd just be hard to listen to, be annoying. So I don't want to be that. So we'll see. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next video.